Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Good Morning Education Show. This is another day, another episode. Today is Tuesday, the 3rd of November, 2020, and this is the first Tuesday as well in the month of November, and we're excited to be here broadcasting live from the city of Lagos to Nigeria, to West Africa, and the entire world. It's such a pleasure to be here with you. And of course, as we normally say, this is the Good Morning Education Show. We wish you all have a great day. Every time we connect with you, we always expect that you tell us where you're streaming from, where you're joining from, where you're connecting from. Tell us your location. Tell us if you have anything that you would like to share with us on the subject matter. And of course, please feel free to ask your questions. And if at all you also want to call in when the privilege and the opportunity comes, we will also give you that chance to call in. We always have our analysts in the house. We always have conversations around the subject matter of the day. And it's always a great pleasure to also have the conversations from diverse views to ensure that we all get to learn together, share together, grow together. And today will not be an exception. We have an interesting topic um, that we will be dissecting today. And I believe that in a short while we will be able to introduce the topic. But normally, what we do is we have the headline news and then we'll review the headline news. And after we have the headline news, then we'll take a step further to the conversation of the day. And I'm sure that today will not be an exception. It's going to be a great time together. We're going to learn, I'm definitely sure about that. And without wasting much time, let me welcome one of our analysts into the studio today. Let's welcome Titi. Good morning, Titi. How are you today?
Good morning, Rotimi. Good morning. Hello, how you doing?
Hello?
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay, so I said welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a good morning.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. All right, so let's just head over to the news and then we'll come back and have the conversation of the day. Welcome back, and thank you for joining. For those of you connecting, do let us know where you're connecting from. Let us know your name and your location. If it's your first time, develop lesson for you today. And of course, Titi, back to you. Let's have your thoughts on the headlines, the news headlines today.
Yeah, I think let's start with the good news. For the people that have seen their WIAC results, I think that's good. So it was released yesterday as I guess as promised. So that's good. Also the thing for the primary six from common entrance. I still remember going to check my results back in those days. In those days, I think everybody did common entrance. So your dad would go and check the results. I remember checking my results, and then the first time they said they didn't see my name, I so cried and cried and cried. Then my sister said, "No, your name will be there, and they go back and check for me." Anyway, so I think it's good news all around. I see that Kano private school owners and the and the parents are still in negotiation. They've come to a 25% school fees reduction. Well, I think compromise is good. This 25%, we don't really know what's
25% of what, Abi?
of what, and then what's the duration. I think that is it for me. Remember that we're already in November, to be honest, and it means that technically we are in half of the school term. Half of the school term is where we are. So I don't know whether these people have started. So this negotiation, I'm not really so sure what it's for. I think in the end, all I would just say is, let's all reach a place of compromise. Let it be win-win on both sides. It's tough on both sides. It's tough for the parents. A lot of people are going through a lot, and I understand it's even tough for the school as well. So once we're all going with that mindset of where we just all need to be in a place of compromise. It's also good to hear that NECO has given a new timetable for
Yeah.
the completion of the exams, because honestly, this year has been an interesting year of disruption for the people that are doing exams. Either which way, it's just been a roller coaster of lots of highs and lows, starts and stops. So I really feel for the students. Most of the people just give up at this time. Just write whatever. So it takes a lot. So I think those are the major. Maybe
Yeah,
this.
and there was actually one that narrowly escaped today's headlines, and that's ASU. So ASU is saying that they can't go back to school on empty stomach.
How long have they been on strike? They've been on strike since March, isn't it? Because it was even just before the lockdown. Well,
Yeah,
honestly, like I said, I understand both parties. Truly, we can't go back on empty stomach, but we all need to get to a place of compromise, knowing that it's been a tough year all round. It's really been, even for government, it's been a tough year in terms of their revenues. So all I'll just say is, let's try to be considerate and reach a place of compromise. I remember someone telling me once a story. She says, it's a pity that KK is not here. That her father was a lecturer, so she knows what they went through during the period of ASU strike, the kind of managing and wisdom they used to eat, coming from the other side. So, like I said, it's tough all round. It's just that let's all reach a place where it's a win-win. The students are at home. That means they've been home for almost a year. It's it's
yeah,
it's, it's tough. Mm.
interesting. All right. I will believe for better times and better days ahead, and this hopefully reflect in the conversation of the day. So we have a topic called the New Sectors Eve, and I'm sure when you saw that topic, what came to your mind?
Rotimi has come again, no.
Are you sure it's going to be as going again, or we are most times familiar with New Year's Eve,
Mm,
31st of December
mm,
for every year. A lot of times that just brings the consciousness and awareness that the calendar is getting to roll away or roll over. Welcome, KK.
Good morning. Morning, Miss Arotimi. Good morning, Titi.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone on the show today.
Yeah, Titi just mentioned your name some minutes ago.
Did she?
Yes, we're talking about ASU, and there's a headline that says we can't go back to school on empty stomach. So Titi was saying that she wished that KK was here to kind of share experiences, looking at the fact that you've been a first-hand how do I put it?
Right.
Participator in the ASU mix. From that side, a lot of times people don't see the plight that lecturers or children of lecturers or families lecturers experience or go through. So it would have been nice for you to just chip in something there as we're about to begin.
Whoa. I mean, being a lecturer's child is quite difficult, or it was difficult, because there's just not as much. Well, so let me talk about my dad. My dad, he was as straight as a pin. He was that kind of fella. He believed in doing things by the book, especially when it has to do with his work, So he wasn't the lecturer that would sell handouts, not at all. My father, you would never catch my father selling a handout, never. So all we had to rely on was salary. And sometimes, of course, he would be invited for conferences or things like that. My father was an academic. He was very intellectual, so and so maybe from those places, he might get extra money. But even that, my father was very proud. So he wouldn't even agree to take the extra. He wouldn't agree to take that kind of honorarium, honorarium. So it was difficult, to be honest. There was never enough money. So we had to basically do a lot by ourselves. There was always a job. There was washing cars. I mean, it was fun because we were young, but the reality was the extra money helped, right? And I mean, there was one particular ASU strike. I think it was the SAP strike. And I mean, we got thrown out of the house at that particular time. So I lived with my friend. Yeah, it was So you look at people like you don't know what they've been through, right? But it was funny. We were out of the house. I had to live with my friend. So we're seven. In the house, we're 7 kids, right? But I had tons of cousins living with us. My mom had the best friend, so she could only take my mom, and the last 3, my 2 junior sisters, and our last born, a boy. So they were the only 3 that were able to stay with my mom. I stayed with my friend. My brothers stayed with their friends, and it was difficult, really difficult. My eldest brother had to get a job at that time. Just thinking back, it was tough. So yeah, sometimes when I see the fight for ASU, it takes me back to those years when my father fought and fought and fought, but sometimes I look at their fight these days, and sometimes, like I said, I'm not in the mix anymore, but sometimes it seems like the essence of their fight has been diluted. And I mean, things just seem a little different now but I mean, it could be because I'm no longer in the mix. But being a lecturer child is tough. It's really tough. It's tough. There's not just enough money. Everybody feels that you're great because you live in the university campus, but that's not the truth, So yeah, I do sympathize with that plight because I was, like you said, firsthand in the mix of it. But it was tough. It was really tough. Yeah. Okay. Thank God my camera is off today.
Thank you.
Are you tearing?
Thank you, KK, for
extremely
honest.
Wow. Bella.
Yeah.
Ugochi, welcome to the show. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Mr. Deusi and Mrs. KK. Good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning, everybody, to all our listeners.
Honestly, thank you, KK, for that very opened, heartfelt feedback. Because that's what I was telling you. I never thought of it that way till I spoke when a friend of mine whose dad was a lecturer really spoke of those periods during the strike. It gave me a new way of looking at it. That's why that I say that it's tough for everyone. So I understand. We always need to be a place of compromise. It's not been easy. So thank you. It's always good to hear from the other side. Sometimes you need to put a face to people's struggles
Yeah,
so that we
the
can all
struggle.
appreciate it. Thank you.
KK
Thank
in the
you.
building. Once again, Bella, blessings to that for dropping it here. All right. I just remembered as we introduced the conversation or the topic of the day, I actually have a book in my hand. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yes, Dyslexia
Yeah.
Bible.
Yes, by Lola Aneke. It's quite a powerful book, and it feels like a Bible. It's actually very thick in
Wow.
quality. I don't know if I should show this on like, cream paper,
Wow.
or pictures. This is something KK would like to take with green tea. Just read on one corner. All right,
Oh,
so we're
okay, you
talking
got
about
it.
we got so we're talking about new sectors Eve, and I just was asking Titi that when she saw the topic, what came to her mind. And I would like to ask you, KK Ugochi, when you saw this topic, what came to your mind? New sectors Eve.
What came to my mind was, the Eve. So I thought about Christmas Eve and the fact that you're looking forward to Christmas, right? And you're putting in all the finishing touches. You're planning to wake up early. There's just a lot of excitement in the air. So when I thought about that, New Sectors Eve, it's even though there's always Christmas every year, but every year it always seems different. So even if the sector, education sector in this case, is old, it's there, it's always there. But just imagining the beauty that comes along with a newness, the newness we've been talking about, just put a lot of excitement on the inside of me. So yeah, I'm always almost waiting for the dawn to break on the new sector that we're birthing.
I love that. So much lyrics. How about you, Gucci?
Well, I didn't know how you were going to spin it, so I honestly didn't know what to think. I'm just like, okay, new sectors Eve, that's the Eve before something. So what exactly? I'm not sure how you're going to spin it. I wasn't really sure what to think.
Well, I understand your thoughts about that, but the truth about it is, I just kind of took a step back to look at the conversations we've had for the past few weeks, for the past 5 months, to be precise. And I just noticed that there's been a lot of direct and indirect push and pull towards, like KK said, the birthing of a new sector. And if you look at all those dynamics, right, one thing that was safe to say is let's talk about it, approaching it from like, okay, this is 31st of December and we're approaching a new year. There's so much anticipation when we look at the calendar and the date tells us it's the 24th of December or it's the 31st of December. So I'm trying to see how we can paint a picture of what the vibe, what our readiness should be at the eve of a sector. So many times we agitate, we advocate for new things to happen. But we need to ask ourselves, have we identified, itemized the things that has to be done, the things that need to happen in us, through us, with us, and for us to birth a new sector? So that's really what the conversation is about. And I don't know if that helps. You only have to say,
Sort of.
Sort of. Okay, so let's come to KK. We'll go to you and this is your new laughter. So KK, I would like to ask you, what should be our wish list as we're not waiting for Santa Claus, but we're waiting for a sector to emerge. What should be our wish list? Those things that you feel really, really has to happen. Imagine next year, 2021 is that year, and there's so much silence and anticipation. What should be our wish list for the new sector?
Whoosh, our wish list for the sector, and I'm looking at both the public and the private space now, is that a lot of the promises that we have received will actually be delivered on, So that of course is the first thing, and I mean closely tied to that, the sectoral promises are the fact that the laborer is worthy of his wages. So if what I'm hearing about the wages can happen, then it will attract really good guys into the sector who actually would go into education, to university, and want to study education, and those who will come in would want to stay, and that again goes into my second wish list, where there's actually stability in the sector, in terms of staffing stability, in terms of the ability for us to deliver on the value that we should be delivering on in our classrooms and in our schools. So the first one is the promises that the government has given will be delivered on. The second one is stability within the sector. The third one is an openness towards the teaching profession, so that people don't begin to see us as a step above their nannies at home because they're paying us to do a job. And in that vein, people would actually take pride in their jobs, because you can be paid a ton of money, but you're not proud about what it is that you're doing. I know pride is something that you do by yourself, but hey, I'm writing a wish list here, so why not? So yeah, so that's something that I would also wish for, that we actually are proud. We're viewed in the light that we should be viewed as nation builders, as a strong pillar of the economy, generally speaking. And I don't understand why Mr. Rotimi is yawning. Did you go to party last night? Titi, you and Mr. Rotimi went to party.
Let Rotimi speak for himself.
All right, thanks, Mr. Rotimi.
I was reading the book.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Titi, God won't shame us, eh? Jude, welcome to the building. You always come in time to rescue a brother from another mother. Thank you for joining. How are you today?
Morning. I'm good, Mr. Rotimi. Good morning, ladies.
They're activating the girl power. And Jude will always show up on time. Before they tear me apart.
Yeah, I can see the cyberbullying going on.
Wow.
Okay. So we're talking about the new sector's eve, and a lot of us really have been saying wonderful things about what the next level, what the next phase, what the next reality should be in the education sector. And it's just necessary for us to say, amidst the things we've been talking about, advocating about, what should herald the birth of that sector? What should happen? Because we are more or less like at the eve of something new, just before something new happens. So what should be our disposition? What must happen for the new sector to give birth, or for the new sector to emerge? Really, that's what we're talking about. So this is the right time to actually activate Jude, and then I'm coming to Gochi and Titi as well.
Okay. My take has always been the mindset shift, right? The mind shifts. They just have to be this drastic mind shift on what a Nigerian education should look like, right? We know what a Harvard education looks like. We know what a Princeton, MIT education looks like. We know what most of these Western countries' education look like. But for Nigerian education, we still mirror their kind of setting. We have not really able to define what a Nigerian education should look like. Until we get that set or get that right, we might not be able to buy into that new way of seeing Nigerian education, seeing Nigerian civilization, seeing Nigerian independence future, or seeing Nigeria, how will Nigeria look like 10, 20 years time, the educational sector should be able to say one or two things about it at this point in time, because that will determine what kind of mindset we should be carrying as educators, what kind of mindset we should be promoting as educators, and what kind of mindset we should be inculcating into our children or into our students to prepare them for that future. So we should be able to define what a Nigerian education looks like 10, 20 years time, or even 5 years time, so that we can start working towards that direction. We can start deciding our purpose around that direction, or that ideology, that Nigerian education should be like this, and that is what we are all working towards.
Fantastic.
Thank
you. If I may push that to Titi to answer 2-in-1 question, what should the Nigerian education look like, Titi? You've listened to Jude and he's made that allusion. What should the Nigerian education look like?
Can you hear me? Okay, good. I think
Speak up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know. My internet is going the way of Rotimi today. Okay.
At least I'm the only one with video and I'm still here.
At least your video.
My video is very clear.
Yeah,
It's very clear.
HD.
Tell them,
High
tell them,
definition.
tell them.
Honestly, your video is very clear. Okay, so when I think of a Nigerian education, the first thing that comes to mind is, skills. What do we need? What do we need? I think of one, that we are churning out people that solve problems. We're not churning out people that are in papers. And then I also think that we need to decide on a sector, sort of almost decide on a sector that we really want to drill down. You know how India is known for tech, certain countries are known for this. I feel that that's one thing that we also need to do. We need to kind of pick one and say, you know what, for the next 10 years, we are going to really heavily invest in this, such that, we become a hub for it. When people are looking for people in this area, affordable, services in this area, they're the ones that they will think about. And I that's what I feel the education should be. So the government needs to take, I know that one needs to be jack of all trades, but I feel that where we are now, we just need to say, where do we want to be a tech hub? If we are a tech hub, then let's just, pour for the next 10 years, pour a lot of resources towards that, so that in 10 years time, this can't be a 2020 vision dream. So a 2030 dream is that, because you poured it in for 6 years plus 4 years of university, to now say that you're going to bring out a crop of people. And then while you're doing that, you're on the other side creating the enabling environment that would take up those people. So it's something like that. That's where I really think a lot of problem solving that is technology driven. I just feel that that's really what we should, focus on. And we have a lot of bright minds, actually, because we don't have a lot of industrial infrastructure to support any other thing. Those are my thoughts.
And that's quite powerful. I believe that what you just said is really the almost like unveiling a roadmap, because the truth about it is that post reforms that we've had in education, what has been missing has been more or less like a defined agenda to create one kind of leverage that creates our own distinctiveness. And you just captured it that way. We have to begin to adopt pillars within education that almost reflects our drive, our resolve. Because at the end of the day, beyond literacy, there's a new literacy leverage, and it's not just the fact that you were able to show the proof that you went to the four walls of the school, and really that's quite powerful. Ugochi, are you back?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you've been listening to all that we've been saying. You've heard Titi, you've heard KK, and of course you've heard Prophet Jude. I'm sure you have tons of things to say, so I don't want to limit you or gag you with questions. I'd like you to just share your thoughts on what we've been saying so far.
Okay, so network was sticking in and out, and I didn't pick everything I didn't pick much of what has been said, just a little bit here and there about preparing for the education sector if we are stepping, if we are stepping into a new season or a new year, as it were. So for that, I'll just say that for it to be an enjoyable new year, it will be important for us to have planned. Yes, it has to be enjoyable after what we've gone through in 2020. In fact, 2020 has been a decade by itself. So it's for the coming new year to be enjoyable, then there has to be a lot of planning. And planning is understanding where we are now and knowing where we want to go, and then looking for what are the things that can, smoothen our journey or shorten our journey towards achieving it. Once we're able to make plans following that sequence, it really helps. And it helps to even identify what are the things we need short term, what are the things that we'll be looking at midterm, and then of course what are the things we'll be looking at long term, so that we are able to not put ourselves under so much pressure, wanting to do everything at the same time, and knowing that again most of the things we want to do will be capital intensive. So it's in our best interest to plan ahead, space it out over a period, so that we can quantify, see the impact as we go.
Fantastic. I like that. Thank you so much for that. So let's take it a step further, and maybe I'll come back to Jude. I know that we've said a lot on this show, and of course, beyond the show, we've said a lot about technology, digital content, and all those kind of things. But then I would like to bring the same old question back to you today, Jude. So what are those things that will be the critical success factor to ensuring that we get to this point, to this eve, more or less? How do we get to a point where it's more or less a collective reality when we talk about a new sector where we're getting to be very digital, where we're coming up with content and the likes, just like Ugochi said, an enjoyable year. Over to you, Jude.
Enjoyable year. Okay. My take on that has always been the basic infrastructure for deciding an industrialized nation. Basically, first and foremost is the power sector. That has to be solved for every other platform to work on that solution. Now, take for example, anything that has to do with digital literacy, that has to do with computerization, that has to do with technology, it is powered by electricity, right? So we should, I don't know, maybe we should also put it in our agenda as an educational sector that in the next 5-10 years, we have to solve power-related issues. We have to solve power-related issues because that is what drives any form of industrialization globally. You can't run a global or industrialized system without power. You can't run it without electricity, stable electricity. Because if you look at what is obtainable in every nation around the world, they have found a solution to power, and what they are just doing is riding on the benefits that comes with that. Now you might argue that we need good roads, we need good movements and all that, but definitely that is part of it. But what will actually drive any kind of mechanization, any kind of technologically driven environment for a Nigerian educational sector and for the Nigeria of the future we are looking for is
Hello, Jude.
power, and that has to be settled. We can't run industrialization. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you
better
hear me?
now.
Okay, we can't run industrialization on generator. Yes, we can't run it on burning fuel or buying generator. So we have to have at least a stable or at least a manageable way of getting electricity to power our devices, our dreams, because electricity is just more is more than just having your light, your bulb and everything like that. It actually powers your dreams if you want to see it from the perspective of industrializing Nigeria. And if you look at every continent in the world, there's at least one industrialized hub or one industrialized area that is actually powering that continent or powering that sector. So we need that in Nigeria. We need that at least to start making plans and to start pushing our dreams and our agenda for a better Nigeria forward.
Okay. So what I think we might need to do, since Jude is already here with the prophetic mantle, so I'm going to be taking us to that prophetic side where I'm going to start with Titi and coming back to safety check. So I want you to project, and I want us to more or less predict and project. So what do you anticipate for the new year for education? What do you anticipate? And probably who would you? And when I say who, I don't necessarily mean the specific individuals, but who will come out like top players or top gainers in that new year or in that new sector? Titi, let's start with you.
Rosemary, when I'm not the prophetic, why are you starting with me?
There's a mantle already. There's an anointing flowing.
Titi is prophetic. Titi is prophetic.
When I think of 2021, because that's what we are saying, I would say that
Yes.
I feel the top winners, honestly, will be those that are driving with technology. That's what I would say. So for me, I would say it will be more of the private sector. It will be people more in the edtech space, or generally people that are doing things, with technology. They would be the top winners when it comes to 2021. So my advice then would be that if you 2020 did not help you get prepared, don't go into 2021 without seeing how you can transform your school, your sector with technology. That'd be my take.
Okay. Jude, do you want to say something?
Yes, I absolutely agree with TT that don't go into 2021. So we have what we are in November, right? So we have between November and December to plan for 2021. So this time around, ending 2020, it's a planning season. It's more of a planning season. It's more of a strategic season with Ugochi, and it's more of a HR season with KK. So at this point in time, it's very important that we plan for 2021. How are you going to drive 2021? It's because we can't keep licking our wounds. We can't keep allowing ourselves grovel over what happened in 2020. So 2021 is already ahead, and this is the time to. You can't start planning 2021 in January 2021 or February 2021. You have to start planning 2021 in November, December 2020, so that we'll have a better fulfillment of.
Hello, Jude.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes,
Can you
I
hear
think
me?
it was breaking for a bit. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So what my point is, 2021 plan or vision 2021 should start from November, December 2020. So every plan for 2021 should start kicking out in, or start moving in this last 2 months of the year, November and December. So you have a strategic session with Ugochi, and you have a
Please come for
organizational
strategic
section with
session.
Kiki. So and you have you have a power mantle session with Mr. Rotimi, and you have a visionary session with Titi. So
You know,
I
like
believe,
like you said, you know, like you said,
yes.
I think what might even need to come to our perspective is the sense of urgency, because
Mhm,
um,
mhm.
there's something about taking off with a vision, which a lot of times people don't factor in visioning. So Vision 2021 is not about picturing what will happen in 2021, because what really should be set before the first day of 2021 is Mission 2021. Are you getting me?
Yeah, mission.
Because a lot of people will spend half of the new year building on the mission, finding out the mission, and because all they had was just the vision, right?
Mission.
So
Yes.
I think November and December should not just be Vision 2021 in terms of the mental picture, but
Sure.
basically in that vision we must find some provision for the mission of 2021. Right. Kiki, welcome
Yeah,
back to the show.
I totally agree with that,
Thanks.
Mr. Rossi. I totally agree. The mission, the vision mission statement has to be clear and workable, and no matter how small it is, because most times people think it has to be this grand project or this grand. It can be as small as possible, but at least measurable steps that can be tracked and worked upon and improved upon.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I think Ugochi, you were about to say something.
No, I wasn't.
Ugochi. Okay.
No,
All
I
right.
wasn't
Kiki,
saying
welcome
anything.
back. You've missed it.
Thanks for me.
All right. So Kiki, we're in the prophetic mode where we are projecting and
Okay.
also we are projecting and profiling, gainers of 2021 or gainers of the new sector, and or winners of the the way you do is stock market. Gainers, top
Mhm.
gainers, top losers. So we're not talking about losers. There's no loser conversation here, but really, and Titi kind of put
Mhm.
into perspective that top winners and gainers are those who will be driving technology in 2021.
Absolutely.
Are there other insights that we should be looking at, those who will really be on the top of the sector, or the kind of change you foresee or you project to foresee?
I mean, I do agree with Titi that those who, I mean, have a deep understanding of the use of functional technology would be at the top of and not just in education, in practically every sector. Responsiveness is also really important, that you know how to use technology and you're not responsive to the needs of your community is also, something that we need to look at. So yes, people who understand the need to be responsive. Communicators as well is something I would put up there. So not only are you responsive, but you can communicate why change and what the change is, and basically carry everybody else along. I'm floundering a little because I'm kind of in the middle of the conversation that has taken off. So I'm somewhere there just trying to find my feet again. But I'm sure as we progress, I should be able to get it in. But yeah, responsiveness and the ability to communicate. So strong communicators and people who are responsive. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So maybe we take this a bit more personal. I've asked that in a previous episode, but I'm going to come back to Jude. I'm going to come back to Jude. Then I go to Titi. Safety gets set, and then coming back to KK. So now we are already talking about the sector's Eve, and there's responsiveness, as mentioned by KK, and there's strong communication. There's Vision 2021 and all that. So, Jude, would you like to cast more or less like give us an advert or or a preview? Or it's just a sneak peek preview of 2021 or the sector. What will we be seeing and hearing from Jude in 2021?
Okay, for me, I always have the big picture in what I'm working towards in. Okay, I'm working on a book, so that is one of my that might be launched.
Bell of blessing.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
In fact, podcasting.
Oh, thank you.
So I should be done by December, then maybe launch January. So that's for the book. Then for EdTech space, I'll start focusing on more of hands-on application on specific subject areas on usage of tech, because sometimes I think we have been having a lot of generalized use of tech, right? So 2021 will be more focused. So if you are focusing on just English language use of tech, we'll focus on that.
So it's a tech integration year, tech integration application. Jude, are you there?
Train on that.
Hello. All right. Okay, maybe let's move on to Titi. Titi, so sneak preview of 2021.
So sneak preview of 2021. I think for me it's global expansion. That's a bit of what we're ending the year with. It was how you had it as a long-term plan, but this year has helped show that really there are no restrictions. The only restrictions are your part. So for us next year is really how to take Niger kids to other parts of the continent, both in Africa, the whole world. So that's really where we are when we look at 2021.
Fantastic. So we have a caller. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. You said? Okay. Good morning, King T. King T is calling from Lagos. Welcome to the Good Morning Education Show. So
yeah, I think I quickly got to just add on to this 2020, 2021 of the thing. And there's one word I told myself yesterday, and that word is 2020 did not give me the vision of 2021. There's happen this year. I know for me as a person, my own innovative and business improved. Want to discover from where we really expected that you can actually add value or you can make something out of. So 2020 has really been a very great year. Even though the other side is what people are doing, but for me, as a person, I see the positive part of it and how much value I have added to my life. So thank you very much. Thank you for this for the topic.
Thank you so much.
Have a blessed day.
Thank you. Thank you for calling. And that was King T. I hope you guys could hear.
Yes, we could.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, well,
All right. So he was talking about his outlook for the year and appreciating us for the show. And that's quite heartwarming to get live calls from the show. And
Yeah.
yes, fantastic. So we've heard Titi, we've heard Jude. And who's next? Is it Keke or Safety Chick? Ooh. The ladies are okay. Yes, Safety
None
Chick.
of us.
Safety Chick, you're next.
Today we went quiet.
So Safety
Okay.
Chick.
Okay, so for me, 2021 is about a lot of learning and new experience in the new path I'm towing. So I'll be doing a lot of studying and then trying to get hands-on experience in that line of work. And I'm open-minded to I'm open-minded to working in another African country because of the kind of experience that I need in the development space. So I'm working towards that.
Let's slam it. Let's slam it. 2021, you'll be doing a lot of travels.
Yeah, by the special grace of God.
You know now,
Okay,
Safety Chick, you know now, you know.
Prophet Rotimi Itai, God.
Don't
Oh my
worry.
God. Father
So
in Israel.
you know why we've been yawning now, according to KK.
Yes, so that's just how my 2021 is looking. In fact, my 2021 has started.
Mm,
My 2021 has started actually. So I'm just rearranging my life so that it works smoothly.
fantastic. Thank you so much. KK.
Yes. So for me, so definitely a lot more collaboration is in my crystal ball for 2021. A lot more meaningful collaboration along something that I found that I'm not only passionate at, but I'm extremely good at. Then for me, EdTech for women is a big deal for me, and it's not Titi's type of superhero EdTech. Not Titi's type. Titi's superhero in that one, but functional EdTech. A lot of women are very worried about using technology in business. Yeah, they're very worried about using, just functional things, really, the basics, and they just don't know how to do it. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that. Some of it free, some of it paid. Then generally the school business is something that I've seen just working with people this period on reopening plans. It's horrible how people just run their schools. I don't even know how those schools are still existing, so projecting that a little further into the future, I can see that there's going to be a lot of, if we're not careful, a lot of schools shutting down. Not because they're not running a good business, but because they're not running a business, it's all hard. So some of those things are things I'm going to be doing quite a bit of. I'm also quite good in the classroom. So being able to mentor teachers is something I'm looking forward to, especially in terms of emotional intelligence, in terms of, that. Thanks.
Next year is a bell of blessing. Just say it's a bell of blessing. That's all.
Bell of blessing.
Yes. Fantastic. Such a great preview, listening to you guys talking about it systematically, line upon line, just dropping it. Crystal ball upon crystal ball, tech upon tech, travels upon travels, 2021 definitely is going to be for us all. Of course, by the special grace of God, and it's going to be a great year. Greater because we're coming with a consciousness that is not just going to be receptive, but a consciousness that is going to go all out. So for me, one of the key elements of the new year will be a lot around coastal dominance, right? There's going to be a lot of dominance in such areas. And of course, there'll be new expressions. As in, there are some things that you would hear and you'll see and you'll be like, are you serious? And it's already in the works. And so, KK, I told we have gist now. So we're coming. There's some fantastic things. So we want to move away from the things we've pushed from the place of philosophy and from the place of advocacy, and then we're going to go straight into the mainstream. We're going to walk the field 2021, and so it's a year where we want to train a whole nation, and we're going to do that. Yes, we're going to do that, and not just Africa, outside Africa as well. So it's been a great time talking to you guys today. It's been a great time learning from you guys today. And of course, obviously, talking about the new sector's eve, there's one thing that sums it up from all I've heard is we need to prepare. There has to be preparation. And I believe that everyone that has listened to the show today, everyone that has stayed in, or anyone that will get to watch later, should make up their mind that a lot will be dependent on you. You heard that there are going to be gainers or top winners in the new year. Don't be caught napping. Don't be a spectator, right? Be an participant. That's my parting shot. So I'm going to ask Titi to give a parting shot, Ugochi, and then KK, and then we'll end the show. So Titi, your parting shots. Thank you.
My parting shot is that everybody should at this time be, reflective and look at what 2020 has taught them. And then I would say prepare for 2021. Don't be an ostrich. Ask yourself, if 2020 was to repeat itself, what would you have done differently? And how would you better prepare for it if it's to have a repeat? That's how I would end. So think about that. Don't say, oh, this is the worst year. It will never happen again. Mine is prepare for 2021 and ask yourself, what are the lessons from 2020? And if 2020 was to repeat itself, what should I start doing now to ensure that I'll have a better year? Thank you.
Thank you. Uchi?
Okay, so I'll just add to what I'll not even adding, I'll just reinforce what Mr. Adeosi has said. You just have to plan, prepare ahead. Don't be surprised when you step into 2021, for Christ's sake. We shouldn't be surprised. If nothing else, we've had a lot of time this year to, stay indoors and all that. So we need to plan and like we mentioned yesterday, don't think that everything rides on money. Look at the other options. If, for example, you wanted to do a master's program, or you want to do something outside the country, this is the period that fully funded opportunities are flying around. So think wide, look for these opportunities, and then take advantage of them as much as you can. So please plan. Don't be surprised when we say Happy New Year in 2021.
Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so there's just so much that many people plan to do this year, and things happened and they felt they couldn't, and a lot of people let them go. So going into 2021, I would have this to say: if you say that you can't, then you really will not do it. You would find an excuse. But if you say that you can, then you would find a way to get it done. So start with your mindset, start saying that you can, start seeing the possibilities, and start making things happen. Thank you.
That's so powerful, because KK, what you just said is that we are our greatest prophets, right? our prophecy
Absolutely.
to ourselves, right, is that if we say that we can, then we can. If we say that we can't, then we can. It's been a great time. It's been a great show. And I believe that we're going to see you tomorrow. I will be talking about something very unusual, important, and of course, essential to your growth and to your development. Please join us tomorrow. Thank you for watching. And always remember, on the show, we have the sign off that says, it's always a great morning.
And the good morning.
On the Good Morning Education Show.
Education show.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.